I realize I always start by saying, all right.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Signature catchphrase. You're gonna put it on a shirt.
Whatever. Welcome back to the Midnight Mission podcast. We've been gone for
A little
bit.
Yeah.
We went to the New York Auto Show.
Yeah.
And we were supposed to do a podcast on that.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
Yeah, we were on the road. That was gonna be a little.
Yeah, I was going to be on the road.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't say, oh, we're going to do this, and then not do it.
And not do it.
It's a little surprise. Well, sorry. I don't think anybody really cares, but
Yeah. Maybe.
for our 3 listeners out there, we appreciate you guys. We heart you guys. Well, somebody's listening to us.
That's true. That's true.
So,
Very
all
true.
right, what are we
So
discussing on this
Today
podcast?
we're gonna be discussing the rest of Mandalorian, season 3. So that would be episodes 5 through 5 through 8.
Because we did the first 4.
Mm-hmm.
We did 2 and 2.
Mm-hmm. So overall, and so the series is ended now.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into it, what are your overall thoughts? Was this a good season or no season? Or was it like?
It was an okay season.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't as good as season 2. But I also think because we waited for so long, our expectations were much higher.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, if we for me personally, I should have lowered my expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Disney Plus series have been okay.
Yeah.
They haven't been great. They've had, like, great 1 or 2 great episodes, and the rest of the season is, like,
Kind of
okay. Or some shows may have, like, a really great scene, but the rest of the episode was lacking. So I can't say, like, oh my god, all of these episodes in this season, like everything after, really honestly, everything after Mando season 2, Star Wars or Marvel have kind of been like, yeah, they're okay. They're entertaining. Okay. They're not like, oh my god, I want to watch it again. Like Moon Knight, I've rewatched it multiple times, and we're going to talk a little bit about this later, but Star Trek Picard, I know you're not big into Star Trek.
I'm going to start watching it soon, actually.
But I'm big into Star Trek, and season 3 of Picard was like, yo, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. It's not as action-packed as Star Wars is, but just the story, the writing, everything about it was great, as opposed to season 1 and 2 of Picard were not. So it's kind of like the opposite with Mando. Seasons 1 and 2 of Mando were great, but season 3 was okay.
Is Picard over? Or
yeah, it ended the same week as Mando. Yeah, so Mando was that Wednesday, and the Picard, the season finale was that Thursday. But I mean, in general, I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna say like, oh, this sucks. Like I see some people are saying online or whatever. It's like I said, it wasn't as good as Mando season 2, but I mean, I enjoyed certain episodes. It was just weird that it like was heavily focused on Bo-Katan, honestly. Like, I think we talked about that in, like, one of our previous episodes where, like, episode 1, when he gets redeemed, was all about Mando and or Din Djarin and Grogu. That was it. Everything after that was kind of like...
season 3 did feel a lot of focusing on other people besides Din Djarin and Grogu. Mm-hmm. Which, I mean, I'm okay with, but it still felt like lackluster for them.
Yeah, and I feel like this is one of the things I told you, because you and I actually haven't sat down and like discussed the finale, because we wanted to do it like fresh on the podcast. But one of the things that I said was like, if the season finale felt short, it felt rushed. I was like, minimum it needs to be an hour long.
Yeah, I think it's the second shortest episode.
Yeah, and the longest episode was probably the most boring one. Which was like an hour and some change, and they focused on the scientists and all of that. I'm like, what? That didn't make any sense.
And it had a very small impact, like in terms of lore-wise, and in fact of her role. We do see it later on, but let's start
like
talking about.
Like a brief second.
That's what I'm saying. It's a very. Oh, she was doing that, but it's like she didn't need a whole episode. We didn't need a whole episode. It could have been 1 or 2
scenes or something.
Just 1 or 2 scenes, or it could have been just the ending of an episode, like
exactly. I agree 100%.
It could have just been like that.
And I think that's why I loved the season finale of Picard, aside from like my fandom for it, it hit on all those notes that I.
It was a
wish-
finale.
Yeah, I felt like it was
mhm.
a finale, and it's like the series finale at that. So
Oh, so there's no like
there's
season
no
4?
more.
No.
No, there's no season 4. I mean, there may be a spin-off
Mm-hmm.
show with the new cast from the show,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
it may potentially be its own thing.
But its own thing. But
Yeah,
this-
but we won't see
mhm.
any of the older like next generation
Mhm.
casts all together, like the entire ensemble together. But like I told you, like that felt like a season finale and a series finale, because I told you, for me, it hit all of the emotional
Mhm.
notes, all of the action notes, story notes, visual,
Mhm.
cinematography, music. Like I feel like they went all
Yeah.
in on that show, and I get it was a series finale,
Yeah.
but they should have done that for Mando to end season 3, because I felt like the season finale of Mando season 2 was that.
I was going to say that because, like, when you said music, I'm just thinking of the Death Troopers when Luke shows up, that hardcore like beat.
Yeah,
that, like,
so it's like,
Mhm.
and like we didn't need Luke to come back or anything like
Mm-mm.
that. That's not what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I'm being like, I might sound like I'm harsh on the season
'cause
finale, because it was a good episode.
It was a good episode,
It just
but
it was just short
it was
and felt
short.
rushed.
It
And I
did.
wish it was longer.
So I guess let's get into the episode. So
Yeah.
so
Go ahead.
episode 5, the pirate, continues that storyline with Din Djarin and Gorian Shar, the pirate that we see late in the beginning and the end beginning of the series
Mhm.
or the beginning of the season.
Mhm.
He's retaliating back, obviously against
On Navarro.
on Navarro.
Right.
Excuse me. So at this point, they're being attacked because they have no. As they are in the outer rim, they have no protection. They're too
Yeah.
far away from the.
And they refuse. Well, not only that, but
They're also
they want to be
refusing.
their own like independent system.
Yeah.
They don't want to be a part of the New Republic.
So, obviously no help there. Grief Karg reaches out to Din Djarin. He goes to help him. He brings his Mandalorian friends. They, I think this was a good episode. It was very action based, this one, because it was them
Yeah,
fighting.
that was a good episode.
They were fighting just the pirates, and this was both like on-screen warfare, I guess you could say. Like they were shooting each other. They were blasting.
Yeah, there was
out.
action.
It was action. There was
Mhm.
we saw even like StarCraft, a little bit of StarCraft fights, like in the air. There was StarCraft.
Oh yeah,
fighting.
yeah, yeah.
They had a little bit of everything, right? And then we also talk about how in this episode, Bo-Katan loses her left shoulder plate. I think it's her left, or it's either her left or right.
It's her right.
It's her right. So
Mhm.
she loses it, and
She loses it in the previous episode
Mhm.
when she's saving Paz Vizsla's
Yeah.
son from the gigantic pterodactyl-like creature.
Yeah. So, but the armor, they still talking. They're at the end of episode 5. They end up talking more about the mythosaur, what
Mhm.
it represents, what the represents to her,
Mm-hmm.
or that Bo-Katan was able to see the mythosaur instead of everybody else. The armor sees that as she will be the one that who will unite both sides of man.
Both clans
both
and all
clans,
the clans.
yeah. And also at the end of this episode, I can't remember Tiva. I think that's his name. The old X-wing fighter pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finds the ship that was supposed to carry Moff Gideon,
Mm-hmm.
and then he's scanning, he's probing the ship because the ship is completely destroyed from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
There's no survivors, but they did find Beskar remnants.
Yeah.
All
And-
over the
and I think
ship.
we mentioned that in the last podcast.
I think that was good. I think that was a good
Yeah.
hint
Mhm.
to what happens in the future,
Mhm.
but it was a good setup for, I guess, to introduce back Gideon. But overall, it was a general good episode. Episode 6, Guns for Hire. This is when they start, when Din Djarin, Bo-Katan, and Grogu set out to reach out her previous army, which has
Right,
been turned
with-
into mercenaries.
Yeah. No. What is it? What is her name? With Axe Wolves
Yeah.
and
Sasha
Banks' character. I don't remember her name. Oh, sorry. Mercedes Monet.
You know what? Actually, just a side note. I was watching her match, and I don't know. I like it when the announcer says it. I don't know why.
Is it a Japanese announcer?
It's a Japanese announcer, so he says it. He has his accent, and he says a little. He doesn't stretch it. He says Mercedes money. He doesn't stretch it, and I was like, oh, that sounds better. Like I don't like the stretching, but anyway, back to that. No, 'cause I was just thinking about her.
Yeah.
You know,
Weirdo.
what do you mean she lost? But anyway, I just want to throw that out there. But you know, they're going back to the planet to get back there, or not back, but to
convince him to
come back and
rejoin her and on her quest to retake Mandalore.
But before that, you know, the planet.
Blazar 15.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I think so.
Or Blazar 5 or something like that?
I think it's 15.
Okay.
We're introduced to the planets, you know.
That's freaking hilarious, by the way.
Yeah, the captain and the Duchess, who turns out to be...
Okay, hold on. I don't want to cut you off. You know, a lot of people have hate for this episode.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I get that part. It could have gone without. Because really the most important part was, like, the last 10 to 15 minutes of the episode. Because that was connected to the story. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny.
I thought it was like a new breath. I thought it was very like.
I love Jack Black in almost anything he does.
Yeah, so
you know
the captain is the ruler of the planet is Jack Black.
Right.
Jack Black's character.
Well, he marries the ruler of the.
Yeah, he marries and then he becomes the ruler. And the Duchess is I just had her name and I just lost it.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
Anyway, but she's an artist.
She's a singer. God, I really can't remember. But it's gonna come back to me.
Yeah, I can't remember her name either.
Lizzo. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I was about to search it
A lot
up.
of people like win on her acting, and I'm like, come on, like, give her a shot. You know what I mean?
I actually liked it because
I did not mind it at all. I've seen worse acting in Star Wars.
Because in this episode, this part of the episode, it is very not comical, but it is like their characters that they're representing. This like they're luxurious, high end, like
right because
royalty.
they have no crime.
Because they have no crime.
You know, they use. Like,
I felt like they represented
parts.
It very.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was funny.
And you
like,
know,
you see more of Din's hate for droids and why he hates droids and all this.
And then we also get
and
to see
Bo-Katan in action a little more.
Yeah, we see her in action. They do the whole droid thing. Turns out it's with the head security, who is also Uncle Fester. That's how I always see him like that.
You see him as Uncle Fester, but I see him from Back to the Future.
Yeah, and I think it's because he's older, and then in this one he has no hair, so he's
his movement also looked very limited.
Yeah,
so I was just he was moving. But he's older, I get it.
He's like, oh, about it.
I think it was an entertaining episode.
It was a good episode, and then
but like I said, the last 15 minutes is where like it went back. So Bo-Katan challenges. She doesn't know what she's gonna say to them. Yeah. Actually, when she sees them. But when she gets there, she's like, I know what I'm going to say, basically, once I get there. And what she had to say was she wanted to challenge him. She wanted to throw down, you know?
Hands.
So it was a good
showdown. It
wasn't very long. It wasn't very like, oh, who's going to die? Because it didn't feel that way.
No. It felt like just a hands-on match. First one to yield.
She ended up winning.
Yeah.
She gets back her army essentially.
Well, they deny her. Remember, they're like, "Okay, you still don't have this. Remember,
you're right.
you still don't have the saber." He's trying to like, well,
that was after
me.
the fight.
Yeah,
that was after the fight.
He was like, "You beat me, but you don't have the saber.
You don't have claim to the dark saber.
So we're just gonna keep doing our own thing." Din Djarin pulls out like this.
He explains it. That was kind of like
I thought it was weird. I didn't like it.
Like it was not necessarily a stretch, but I'm like, you guys could have done that better. So he basically pulls out the darksaber and he's like, "Here, this is rightfully yours." She's not trying to take it back. She's looking at him, and then the guy's like, she can't take it back.
She has to like fight him to the death for it,
or whatever. And he was like, "Well, she basically saved me.
Yeah.
She basically defeated my captor who took this from me.
Yeah.
So I was defeated by my captor. She defeated my captor and took the darksaber. So technically, this is rightfully hers." Yep. And then he asked, "Is it not rightfully hers?" And everyone, little by little, said yes, basically. So she grabs it, she ignites it, and the episode ends.
Does a whole He-Man thing.
Yeah. And the episode ends.
Yeah.
Then we get into episodes 7 and 8. These are the more interesting episodes, but go ahead.
But yeah, so chapter 7. the spies. Um,
Who were the spies, by the way?
the one person, Elena Kane.
But it's plural.
Yeah.
Spies. I feel like, unless I missed something while watching that, I'm gonna have to go back and
Maybe.
watch it. But who are the spies? I didn't see. They didn't.
I don't know if they're
reveal any
referring
spies
to just her or just the fact that the whole Empire network is being hidden right now. I don't know if it was that.
But why call them spies?
Exactly. I think that was it was very misleading.
They're very confusing because
Yeah.
it had me thinking like, oh shoot,
'Cause,
is
for
Axe
example-
Wolves the spy?
Mm-hmm. Or
Is
the armor,
the armor
of
the spy? She has the little horns on her helmet. Like,
Yeah. Is
I mean, I'm kind
you
of
know,
jumping the gun a little bit, but
is somebody that we know
Mhm.
a spy for them?
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause
is
Because all the
Dan gonna
other
betray them? Like,
yeah,
I
all
was
the other
thinking all this stuff.
episodes titles fit them. Like the last title with the whole fight is Guns for Hire, which made sense because they were being hired, and the same thing with Axe Wolf. They were mercenaries. That makes sense. And then the one before that, the pirate. The whole episode was about the pirate. The spies was
Maybe
a bit,
maybe we missed something. Maybe we have to go back and
Maybe.
rewatch the episode. But it's that didn't make sense to me. But continue.
But Moff Gideon is informed by Elena Kane that the Mandalorians intend to take back their planet now.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Moff Gideon for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
We see him in a hologram when he's speaking with her, and then we actually see him.
Right. Someone pointed out a very interesting thing about
Mm-hmm.
that though. But I'll get to that when we discuss the final episode of the season.
Yeah.
So what happens after that?
We see him in this very menacing walk. I thought it was weird. I thought it was like a very Darth Vader-ish when, like, with the
Mm-hmm.
with the barriers turning off, like each as he passed
It
them.
actually reminded me of episode 1.
Of when? Of like this season, or episode 1 of
The Duel of the Fates.
Oh, mhm.
Episode 1, as in like Star Wars.
Star Wars.
episode
I thought
1.
you meant like like episode 1 of
Yeah,
Mandalorian.
like the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
When
Qui-Gon Jinn and
it
yeah.
reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Which I think they try to play on that a little bit in the following episodes.
Mhm.
It was cool, but it wasn't the same.
But yeah, they could have done a different way, especially because they weren't fighting the same way.
Mhm.
It doesn't fit with it.
Mhm.
But we start seeing the fact that Moff Gideon isn't alone in this crusade. To say he isn't alone,
Mhm.
and we see that there is a bunch of other people from the Empire, different roles, espionage, warfare, and some other stuff. One of the other ones, or one of the interesting characters, was Commandment Brendo Hux,
Yeah, he turns out to be the father of General Hux
Hux.
from
the First Order.
the sequel trilogies.
Mm-hmm.
So that was interesting.
that
Fun
was
fact, they're brothers in real life. Thought that was interesting.
that is
That's kind of cool. Little things like that matter.
yeah.
I
Because
feel like.
when I first saw it, I was like, wait, is that him?
Yeah, I heard
Oh.
Hux. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, is that
What?
Are they just using the same actor? He's been in service that long? Maybe. And then
And
I was
I was
like,
like,
nah.
oh, that
Oh,
makes
this is
more
brother.
sense.
Okay,
Mhm.
that makes sense. But they're going the fact that Moff Gideon goes that he needs resources from the other departments, basically.
Right.
He needs protection. He needs
he
ships.
Asked, he asked for ships. He asked
Yeah.
for more troopers, I think. He
and then
asked
he
for
specifically
Praetorian guards.
the Praetorian guards.
He asked for bombers. He asked for all this stuff. He was getting ready because he knew the
They were gonna
Mandalorians
show
going to
up.
come back and bring the heat.
And then we see that, at first they play him off like, are you scared you're going to die next? Like, we're not going to waste our resources on you. But then he explains that, the Mandalorians are coming over for their planet and that all their research will be lost.
Mm-hmm.
And then they make an interesting comment about cloning.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know at that point what he's cloning or what he's doing.
Right, yeah, we don't see it.
What we do know from previous seasons is that they did harvest Grogu's DNA.
Mhm.
So one could believe either some sort of hybrid or maybe even their first batch of like some hybrid.
Yeah, a lot of people are thinking, what's the guy from the sequel trilogies? He was in the 2 movies.
Snoke?
Snoke. Yeah, a lot of people were saying it was Snoke.
Yeah, it could be
Or the
one of those,
Emperor
or the
or
Emperor, like
whatever.
the first tissues of it, the 1st
Mhm.
samples of it.
But he brings up an interesting
Mhm.
character that we have not seen in live action yet.
Hmm. And that's what's his name, Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Yeah.
So
You watched Rebels, right?
I've seen Rebels.
so you know who he
So
is.
And so simultaneously, I think about this time, did Ahsoka, the trailer for dropped?
I think the teaser trailer dropped, but I
Mhm.
don't think like a full-fledged trailer has dropped.
Yeah, and then we do.
So I'm assuming Ahsoka takes place after this or during.
Or, yeah, during.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, either we don't know yet,
Or
but we
like
do see.
the timelines overlap just a tad bit.
Because we do see that some characters are in there from
Mhm.
previous things, but
You think Mando's gonna show up in Ahsoka?
maybe. Maybe he
Not
might.
the way it ended.
That could be, there's more possibilities that he can
Mhm.
be in other things now. Because we don't know what happens until, like, the trilogy. The new trilogy.
Yeah, that gap in
Mhm.
those, what is it, like 30 years or something like that?
Yeah, so
Mhm.
a lot of things could happen, here from there.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
then-
they start bringing back, and then Bo-Katan is talking about how they want to lead a recon party, that they need to find the Great Forge.
Mhm.
That's their that's the first
like their
place.
mission,
That's
yeah.
the mission. Find the Great Forge, and then we'll set up camp from there. So, but before and then they try to make a team up from both sides. So they need volunteers. Obviously, the Din Djarin volunteers, and then Paz Vizsla.
Yeah. So they basically both clans join forces.
Yeah, we see like a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorite scenes is that Grogu gets a gift.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
He gets a little
IG-12.
rebuilt into IG-11.
No, IG-11 gets
Rebuilt
rebuilt
into
into
IG-12
IG-12.
into a little droid mech suit, I guess you could
Yeah,
say.
he's like a little mech suit.
And Grogu's
Yeah.
sitting at the top, and he has two buttons. Yes.
Yes. No.
No.
Yes.
No. Yes.
Which I thought was funny.
I thought it was funny.
Um,
And we see it later on, but because we even see him use it. Like he starts walking around in the office. He's like, try it out, and he's like, oh, I think
and he knows how to use it.
Yeah, I thought that was.
immediately,
I was just like, wow.
I was like, okay, I guess that's intuitive
Maybe He's
for
like,
a child to use.
I mean, maybe he's been watching, Din Djarin do stuff, so he's like, huh.
Yeah, I hate them. I hate droids.
But it's
necessarily
not a
use
droid;
them.
it's like a robot. But anyway,
It sure was a droid. But anyway,
they get to Mandalore.
They land.
They land. They have two search teams. They have the whole clan is there, but they're on the starships. They're on their Starfleet.
Like a group of them stayed above.
Stay
in
above,
orbit,
and then the rest go
mhm.
down
And when
to
they
recon.
get down there, they do recon and
they meet
They find survivors.
a survivor clan
Surviving Mandalorians
who are loyal to Bo-Katan.
conveniently.
Yeah, I mean, it made sense. I mean,
Yeah.
well, when they started talking, how they're like, oh, we've been looking, we've been doing this for the clan.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, okay, cool. I actually like their design. They're like rusted, war torn.
Did you see that there was a battle droid used as a
Yeah.
shoulder pauldron thing?
Like it's very scavengerish.
Like the head of it. Mm-hmm.
I thought, and
I
especially
mean,
the
all those
rags.
years in freaking
Isolation. Yeah.
isolation, and they survived all those years of Mandalore.
Mhm.
But let's fast forward a little bit because there were some like little boring parts. Like they're on
I just
the
want to
ship.
say
and,
the one thing is when they're on the ship and they're playing like
and then
3D chess or whatever it is,
Yeah, and they fight.
then he's like, the starship can jump 3 spaces. It's by itself. It's like, no.
You're making up your own rules. It's
Like,
like people
savages.
playing Uno.
Yeah. You're like,
"Nah,
you're a
man,
savage.
you can do color on color, man.
Come
It's
on, come on,
pylon.
stack 2 on 2.
No, you
That's
can-
4 no.
Yeah.
And, they start fighting, but I
Over a
think-
game.
yeah, exactly. Over a game. And I thought that was funny.
And the fact that Grogu is the one that stops
The Grogu's
them.
the one that's, because
The other ones can't
no
interfere.
one can stop it, because then it's, clan war,
Yeah.
everybody fights. But it's Grogu who stops.
Yeah. What I find interesting though is that we get a little more backstory of how Bo lost the Darksaber.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting because I
Mhm.
was always trying to figure out like what happened. Are you guys like ever gonna talk about it? You're gonna
Mhm.
explain it. Bo basically tries to cut a deal with Moff Gideon. He betrays her. He lied to her.
Pranked her.
That's it. I mean, that's
Mhm.
essentially what it is. Then they go and they try to find.
Well, the survivors are like, hey, we actually know where the Great Forge
Yeah,
is.
we know where it is. Yeah,
They on their way there. It turns out
the Empire.
the Empire has been there the
has
whole time.
Been there the whole time.
They've been making use of the Beskar there
Yep.
to make Beskar stormtroopers, I guess you can call them. I don't
even know what
I
they're
don't.
called.
We don't know what they're.
They reminded me of the Mandalorian troopers, Mandalorians that worked for the Empire. I don't remember if it was Clone Wars or if it was Rebels, but the white armor reminded me
I know
of
what
that
you're
a
talking
lot.
about.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see, storm. I'm gonna just say stormtroopers because I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna call them.
But their whole armor set is Beskar.
Yep.
So it's a firefight ensues.
But I thought that was cool how they did the firefight because
Yeah.
you see them. So
Even
one, they retreat
mm-hmm.
and then they come back.
Because it was an ambush. They got ambushed.
Yeah.
Because as we know, Moff Gideon knows that they're on their way. So
Mhm.
he sets up an ambush for them, starts,
Yeah.
blasting them. And then surprisingly, we see that the stormtroopers are fighting the same as Mandalorians. They have flamethrowers on there. They have the grappling hook.
they
have
have the same
blasters.
tech.
Like, it's the
You know,
same tech. So it's like, I think it caught them off guard. Like, whoa.
Mhm.
This is our thing.
I remember they whooped them though.
Yeah.
When they came back.
When they came back, but
with
in
the
the start,
armor and
yeah.
everything. You know what bothers me about the armor?
Uh-huh.
She has no gun.
I thought that
no
was funny, bro.
blaster,
I thought that was funny.
No nothing. She just has her hammer and her other thing, and they're flying through the air. And she's like, ding, ding,
I thought that
ding,
was
and
cool.
she's like lighting them
She's
up with that
whack.
hammer. And that. I really thought she was like gonna betray them
No.
in this episode.
No, so,
Oh, but that wasn't this episode.
that was
I lied.
episode
I'm
7.
mixing them up.
We see them, they get to the command center or whatever. They see an entrance to a
Mhm.
base. They go in there, boom, Din Djarin gets captured.
He gets caught
He gets-
off from everyone
yeah, he
else,
gets
like a
blast
blast door
shield, yeah.
shuts down, and then he gets caught.
Yeah, he gets tied up by
He
all
gets
the,
tied up,
and
then Bo cuts a hole on the opposite end to try to get
before
everyone
that,
out.
Darth Gideon shows up and his.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Well, and then surprisingly, it looks like Darth Gideon's suit is not only Beskar, but it's also like a power armor, like a.
Yeah, he said he took the tech of the Dark Trooper.
Yeah.
And combined it with Beskar.
Yeah, so he
So
has
that's like when he
physical
steps,
armor.
it sounds like
Yeah, it sounds
Yeah.
mechanical. So
Mhm.
like a little upgrade.
kind of like a Mandalorian Iron Man suit.
Yeah, that's what
Basically,
you would
that's
call
what
it.
it was.
And then, he's like, "Oh, just give me the saber, and I'll let you go." And she's like, "Yeah, right." And so they turn around the other direction.
Yeah.
Um,
And then like they're getting ready to escape, but Paz Vizsla
stays behind.
stays behind to buy them some time.
Yeah.
And
And Bo's like, "I'll stay with you. We're
and-
gonna rock them."
Mhm. But
And
she-
he's like, "Yeah,
no.
just go." Boom, shoots the emergency, I guess, the button.
Yeah, and closes the other end of the door
And
again,
tells her to
and
go
then
on.
he lights all of those
I
stormtroopers
thought
up.
this fight scene of
Yeah, I thought it was really.
I thought it
good.
was really good.
And you know what though? Not to cut you off. Like I forgot that Moff Gideon had ordered the Praetorian Guard.
I did too.
And then when I see them show up, I said, "Oh, he's going to die."
I even thought that like their introduction, where you hear that,
I thought it was pretty good.
I was like, "Oh."
And then we were walking with purpose. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna die. They're gonna kill him."
You know what I did? Like he put the little Captain America shield up. He pulled out his knife. I was like, "Oh yeah."
The little shield that comes with the new figure that Hot Toys announced. That is the exact same figure that I already have in my house.
Oh,
it just brings that
man.
little ass shield.
Well, he could put the little shield.
You know, I ain't gonna lie though. After he died, I was like, "Man, people gonna pay money for this junk to get it right now. Let me see how
Yeah.
much I can sell it for." But I was like, "Nah, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it."
But yeah, unfortunately, he does get game ended. He does
Game ended. He does die.
He
which
does
was
die. It was kind of sad.
It was irritating
It was. 'Cause I
in
was
a
like,
bit because I'm like, I just started to like.
yeah,
the
I started
guy.
to like the guy,
And
and
now
he
he's
was
gonna
like,
kill him
nice.
off?
He has a
Okay.
son too, and I was like,
I know,
damn.
right?
You introduced his son and everything,
Mm-hmm.
and it just boom,
Gone. Get out of here.
That's how the episode ends. They're
He
trying
don't
to.
respawn.
He don't. He ran out of
Yeah.
lives.
But yeah, you're right. That's how the episode ends.
Mhm.
And then episode 8, the finale.
Continues
swear-
with.
I swear it should have been longer. Should have
It
been
should've-
an hour.
it really
was like
should've.
39 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Very
Maybe
short.
even less because there's like the credits at the end, so
Mhm.
it's probably less than that.
That is true. So with episode 8, the return, I don't know. I felt like the return kind of felt out of place, but I guess it was in reference to Moff Gideon or their return to Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we forgot during episode 7 is during the firefight they sent one of the Mandalorians up to escape to warn.
Oh, that was Axe Wolves.
Yeah,
Axe Wolves.
and so
And he makes it.
He makes it up there. And he's like, we gotta skedaddle. But in episode 8 we see them retreating basically at this point.
Right.
But Axe Wolf does get up there, and he sends the remaining Mandalorians to reinforce them. So they send everybody down, because what they want to use is, because Moff Gideon sends out the TIE bombers. So what they want to do
Mhm.
is just leave the Starfleet that they stolen,
And bring everyone
just
down.
bring everybody on the ship. And I thought that was really cool how they like transition. Like everybody just jumps out the ship.
They just hold ass. Everyone is like just flying down.
Flying
and then,
down, and then you see all the ships.
Like it stays in that scene, and then you see those ships. Like, y'all didn't just see them fly past y'all.
Yeah.
Like no one heard it. Like, but whatever. Star Wars. It's
And
just
then,
like little Princess Leia under Obi-Wan Kenobi's like jacket. No one noticed him with a child walking down. Whatever. The Star Wars logic.
They don't have the Force. Never mind. I was gonna say this isn't the child you're looking for.
I guess. Anyway, but I mean, it was cool.
It was, yeah, and then the rest of the clones, not the clones, the rest of the Mandalorians show up.
For all we know, they are clones. They didn't explain who those guys were.
That's true.
They could be Moff Gideon clones.
Well, we'll see. But
we do see some of those.
We see some of those,
which was like, I don't know. You know what kind of annoyed me though? How easily Din Djarin escaped. He said, "Whoops," and he was free.
I mean, I was just like, but they're still stormtrooper. Like, with all that armor, you're still a stormtrooper. What you gonna do about it?
That we know of.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You know what? It reminded me of the fighting sequence in episodes 7 and 8 because they both wear Beskar. I don't know if you've seen John Wick Part 3.
I have. I've seen all of them except for 4.
Do you remember at the end when they start fighting the armored soldiers?
Mm-hmm. Vaguely, it's been a while.
So I remember that because it was the same fighting style. How they couldn't shoot because obviously it deflects, so they start hitting them. They start beating them and then shooting them in the
until they went and got those really heavy rounds.
Yeah, but before that, he starts like waxing with the pistol and shoots them like in between.
It did feel like that. It was very like low to the ground fighting. Like you're right. You're right. It was like that.
I was just like, is that John Wick Mandalorian?
It's just John Wick did it better.
Yeah, John Wick obviously did it better. I was like, John Wick Mandalorian? One takes off his mask and it's Keanu Reeves. He's like, I got this.
I guess now that I'm thinking about the episode a little more, I have more questions.
More questions. It did.
And a little more issues with certain things. So like him escaping so easily. Like, why didn't you just do that from the get-go?
And then Grogu didn't escape with them. Grogu stayed back.
Yeah, it was just weird.
I thought that was weird. I was like, so no one's going to notice the kid that y'all supposed to take care of.
Yeah, he can't fly nowhere, though.
Exactly.
But anyway, they come back.
I
do like the fight from the air with the Mandos and the troopers or whatever they're called, or Mando troopers or Beskar troopers or whatever they're going to be called. But I thought visually it looked good because I was always trying to how are they going to do that? Because they did it in the animated series. It was animated series, so you can do it there. That's different. But it was really cool. I like how they did it. And
then we see Din Djarin and Grogu find the tubes of Moff Gideon's clones.
Yes, you're right.
They did that first, and I thought that was a weird introduction because it was just like, oh, he has clones, by the way, and then they're just like,
it just quickly destroys them.
Yeah,
like I'm like,
how you do that? Yeah. You don't got a droid with you. How you do that?
Oh wait, I don't know what the hell he did, but then he made the tubes explode.
Exactly. So, and I'm thinking he don't got a droid with him. How he do that?
I guess. Well,
we see him later, but this is before that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, how he don't got a droid with him?
How well, no, R4 was helping him.
Not yet.
Yeah, because he had to get through the barriers.
That's after. That's after he blows up the clones.
Is it after?
I think so. Because then he does the fight scene and then he gets at the end.
See, this episode was I don't even remember that. Anyway,
And then he gets to the barriers. And
you guys have seen it, so you guys know what the hell we're talking about.
So and then R4 goes, turn it off, R4, and he's like slowly turning off the barriers one by one as he defeats the 2 standing guards that are on like each barrier, which I thought was weird. They're just like,
and the other ones were just ready. Like
you're like,
they
still got my turn?
They still got their ass whooped.
Yeah, they
had
the advantage.
He went through 2, 4, 6 or 8 of them. He went through them like it was nothing.
And
that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I felt like this episode felt
very
rushed. Like
protagonist powers.
He did it he did it without his weapon. Like he kept taking theirs.
Like I said, very John Wick-ish, but it wasn't done like right.
Yeah,
like
I completely agree.
Like cause it was like, oh, boom, 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 take the knife, stab him in the kneecaps where the armor's weak and all that stuff. I was like, oh,
I mean, they tried it. I guess
they tried it. I mean, if this was a longer episode, I wouldn't mind 10 minutes of that. Of Din Djarin.
Dude, not even 10 minutes, like 6 minutes or so. Because this was like a minute and 20 seconds or something like that. Like
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Like when you put it all, compile it all together, it's not that long. But yes, it should have been longer.
But
then he kills the clones or whatever, destroys them in their tubes, and then this is what bothers me, right? Before all of that, Moff Gideon sees that Din Djarin is coming for him, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna go meet up with him. I'm gonna go stop him or something stupid like that. Where was he while he was fighting those troopers through each of the barriers? Where was he when he destroyed his clones? Like, you just said a couple of scenes ago that you were gonna go.
You were
on
gonna
your
do
way to
something
meet
about
him.
it.
Where
He got
were you that
lost,
whole
bro.
time?
He got lost.
There's little things like that that I had a problem with in the episode. But overall, like I said, it was good.
It was a good one.
Enjoyable
Yeah.
to watch. But then he gets to him and he's like, then Moff Gideon starts to explain. I don't remember much of what he said, but I do remember him saying,
He's like, "Oh, you blew up my clones.
you
bro."
blew up my clones. They were supposed to be force sensitive. Basically, the one thing I don't have, I was going to give to them. And I'm like, why would you want to give it to them?
Why not you?
Why not you?
Yeah.
Like, who cares if there's clones of you? You're not them, technically. You're you. But I did, this is what I was going to say earlier. I did read or see something, a theory, that was not the real Moff Gideon. That was a clone of Moff Gideon. And people try to say it's because his hair was different or whatever. And I'm like, okay, he could have got a haircut. But what if that's true? What if that is not, or that was not the real Moff Gideon? And it was a clone of Moff Gideon that was killed.
Yeah.
And the real Moff Gideon shows up in season 4 of Mando, or in Ahsoka, for all we know.
Or yeah, like on the last episode, we see that he's actually alive or something.
Right.
Or like, yeah.
But
That could be a possibility because going on to that, I feel like it was his death was like half and half. Like I was like, I liked it
so fast,
and then it was like, oh.
Yeah, because he was whooping Bo-Katan's ass.
He did, yeah, because Bo-Katan shows up to help, and then,
wait.
Grogu fights.
First, Mando fights the Praetorian
guards.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, he fights them after.
No, he fights them before, and then Grogu.
Oh, no. This is what happened. He starts to fight Moff Gideon.
Oh, and the Praetorian guards.
And then Moff Gideon cuts off Grogu and Mando. He closes the door. And then the Praetorian guards are like getting ready to get him. Then Bo-Katan comes, and then the two of them are fighting,
and then
Moff Gideon, and then somehow Din Djarin is able to go to help Grogu, and then Grogu is like using the Force.
Yeah, so they
trying
do
to get
break
away from the
E11, the E12, IG12. And I thought that was cool. We saw a little backflip.
Yeah, and he was using the Force, and like I do like that. If Grogu wasn't there, Din would have died. The Praetorian guards would have killed him because Grogu kept using the Force to help him, like in the video game. Use the Force, just pushing them away.
That's really what he was
doing.
Force
push. That's really what he was doing. And
I thought it would have been cool if he just like pulled from his hood a little lightsaber. Like I'd be like, oh.
Speaking of lightsabers,
yeah,
that fight between Bo-Katan and Moff Gideon, I get it. He had a robotic armor that gave him more strength or whatever. The fact that he destroyed the Darksaber blew me. Like, why? Why destroy the Darksaber?
If you're gonna destroy it, why did you want it?
And then destroy it the way he did. Like, it's a Beskar. And I get Beskar can destroy Beskar. But Bo was holding it.
Yeah.
And he crushed the Darksaber through her hands because she was holding it.
Yeah.
Why are her hands not demolished?
Exactly.
But that's just...
I know, I get you, because I thought that, I was just like, wait.
Like, if he had taken it from her and just, like, crushed it or
broken
it in half,
that makes sense.
That makes sense. But
her hand was in it, like,
yeah.
Shouldn't her hand be broken?
And, like, in the next scene, her hand is all good.
He's like, oh, yeah, I'm shooting. Beep, beep.
It's not even wrapped up or anything.
No.
But...
I guess they'll maybe introduce a new saber. I feel like
she might repair it. Like, we don't see her pick it up, or at least I didn't catch that. But
maybe... Well, remember, they have the Great Forge now, so...
that's true, but the crystal in the Darksaber, she's not going to reuse it. You know what I mean? Like, where is she going to get a crystal to make a saber? So she has to recover it.
Yeah.
She's not force sensitive. It was a force sensitive. It was a force sensitive Mandalorian that made it.
Yeah.
So she would have to recover the crystal.
Grogu was a force sensitive Mandalorian.
He can't even talk. So he
not
can make a lightsaber.
I thought he was going to say it. To be honest, I thought that he was going to speak. It was like he was going to say the creed, and I was like,
Father. But anyway,
yeah, so you know they end up.
So Mando.
Well, the ship the ship starts crashing.
I forgot about that. Yeah, because Axe Wolves.
Yeah,
It's like purposely like gonna crash it into the
Yep.
base.
And I thought he was gonna die, to be honest. But
I knew he wasn't gonna die. He had his little jetpack. He knew what he was doing. When I saw him blast through the little glass
shot the
window and
glass,
say,
I
"I'm
was
out,"
like, okay.
he said, "I'm out."
Yeah, he dropped the
Survived.
ship.
Yeah,
You know,
that causes a chain reaction
of
and explosions and
blah
stuff.
blah blah. Things are falling. The engine falls.
I don't.
I think that's what
exactly
it is.
Remember what it was? I just know the whole ship fell in that cave.
It fell in the cave. Yeah, it is the engine, and so I think
That's probably what it was.
and you know, Moff Gideon's like, oh, like
So he's about to crush him.
he's about to get burned to a crisp.
Because at this point he's fighting
Both
Din, Bo, and,
and
Grogu.
Grogu.
But then like the explosion happens, and then like
we see like
we
a
see
very Breaking Bad.
from the like
Because his same character
died with the
dies
explosion.
the exact same way, and I was just like, "Yo,
That's probably a callback to that.
it is." And that's why I kept making. Me and my nephew kept making fun and jokes. So like, he's just trying to open space Pollos Hermanos. That's all he's trying to do. That's why he needs 7 clones, because he needs 7 different general
So
managers.
stupid.
Because
But
everybody at El Pollos Hermanos is family.
But anyway, he dies in the explosion.
Well, yeah, and then the flames obviously are gonna hit everybody, and we see Grogu.
Yeah, because they're in close
No.
proximities to each other.
Yeah,
And Grogu's using the
force to block out.
to create a shield, a
Little
force
barrier.
bubble to protect them
I just
from.
like it because he's like, no.
Which kind of like made me feel like, wait, if Grogu could do that, why didn't what's his name from Rebels do it?
Ezra,
No, the other one, Ezra's master.
the blind dude.
Yeah,
Because he never learned.
his name was Caleb.
Yeah,
His real name. But
Yeah.
then he,
yeah, we see him in the Bad Batch.
um,
I don't know.
I don't remember his name.
Maybe because he's not good. I don't know. I feel like that's a lot of like things. There's like a lot of Jedi can't do the same things as before because they weren't trained in that.
I need to remember his name.
But yeah, we see Grogu be like, no.
Kanan.
Kanan, yeah.
Yeah, Kanan. It made me think about that. I'm like, why couldn't
Mm-hmm.
Kanan do that? But I get he was using the Force to stop
Yeah.
one thing, and he used his other hand to push back
Mhm.
Ezra to escape. Whatever. It made for a good story.
Yeah.
But Grogu saves his ass. He
Yeah.
saves
Bo-Katan.
Din and Bo-Katan.
So, you know.
So that's basically the end of the exciting parts.
I would have
Of the
liked for them to just cut off his head, like just with the dark saber, just zoom.
Yeah, man, something.
I thought that would have made more sense, especially because they're fighting for the saber. That
Yeah. At
but-
the end of the day, Grogu is the one who defeated, technically,
Moff Gideon.
Moff
yeah.
Gideon.
Yeah, he said, "Ka-chow."
And Moff Gideon defeated
Bo-Katan.
Bo-Katan.
He couldn't pick it up.
So who can
Who can pick it up? Grogu. Force sensitive. Told you. Force sensitive. Mandalorian right there.
He's probably gonna. And he's a Mandalorian now.
Told you.
So we fast forward.
They're at the Great Forge now, and they're like, we're all here together, guys. We're gonna do this. We're gonna rebuild. Blah blah blah. All that
Mhm.
stuff. Because during the episode, we forgot to mention this in episode 8, as they're escaping to cover.
Mm-hmm.
The survivors, obviously, they know the terrain. They start showing
Yeah.
them around. They go into this one cave. They notice natural growing flowers. Like
Oh yeah.
the
just
whole
like grass and
planet's
stuff.
like it's healing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so Bo-Katan
it's
talks
inhabitable.
it's inhabitable. Bo-Katan's like, I've never seen flowers that are not in an atrium, that are not.
Oh yeah, that's not in one of their domes.
It's not one of the domes. And now we actually see that life is capable.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives them hope. Going back to the Great Forge, they're like, okay, we're gonna do it all together, guys. We got this, both sides, one clan, blah blah blah. They light the Great Forge on fire. Thought it was cool. Because we do see that the other side, the other clan, they're not as religious as them, but they still believe in their creed. Like they
Right.
have a just different version of it. And I
Mhm.
thought that was like, okay, they're all united under one common cause to.
At least for that episode.
Yeah, true. Could be like, all right, guys.
Mm-hmm. And what interesting though is that Grogu gets a new name.
Yeah. So after that, now that they are on Mandalore, they can actually do the
People can take the creed. and
at
all this
the
other
city
stuff.
of fountains, at the river of fountains,
I
or
don't
whatever it's
remember
called.
what it's called.
And they're baptized.
Basically.
Yeah.
They take the creed there, and then
We see a new recruit. He's being,
Paz Vizsla's son.
is it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I thought he had a different helmet on.
No, it was him. It was a blue one.
Oh yeah, because
He didn't finish
he
it.
didn't finish it. So
Mhm.
yeah, he because he got taken away by the bird. They ate the bird.
Yeah, they ate it. They ate it. They ate the baby
I-
birds.
I
I
thought-
laughed so hard when I saw that.
I
on
really thought
Instagram.
they were gonna tame them and have some sort of like
It's
cool
like, "No, we're gonna
Mandalorian.
make a feast. Huh?
Yeah, they just said, "Oh, we gonna
A
be
reptile
good
bird.
tonight, bro."
Disgusting. But anyway,
Oh.
so then then wants Grogu to take the
Take the-
Creed, but the armor is basically like, nah, bro, he can't talk. He can't speak.
He's too young.
He's too young.
He can't speak, and he's like, "Bro, did you not see the backflips?"
And he was like, only his parents could do it. And then he was like, we don't know who his parents are. So then adopts Grogu.
He officially becomes his dad.
He officially becomes his dad. So then the armorer says, you are now Din Grogu.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds so weird. They could have, whatever. Anyway, so then Grogu is now a foundling.
He's
a full-fledged foundling.
He's part of the Mandalorians.
He's part of the Mandalorians now. He does not get a helmet though.
He's too small because he can't wear
This
it.
is the thing that I wanted to see more of. They left like, I have more questions. They made it seem as though Grogu had or got a connection or sensed the mythosaur. Because after that, you see
I know
Grogu's
what you're talking
face,
about.
and then like they kind of like
He makes a little sound.
yeah, and then like you go and you see they go
The
through the
mythosaur is
murky
like,
water, and then you see the mythosaur, and like that's it. You don't see nothing else
Yeah.
about the mythosaur. Again.
Yeah.
Then after that, you see them basically lighting up the torch, and then
Mhm.
Din goes back to Navarro, and he get his little plot of land. They bring back. Din goes to see the
Great
New
Father.
Republic Ranger.
No, yeah.
He goes to see the New Republic
Mhm.
Ranger before going to Navarro. He's basically asking him
but,
for work.
But before that, he gives. No, this is after that. Yeah, he goes to the New Republic outpost. He's like, "Hey, man,
And,
I did you the solid, bro.
mm-hmm.
You know, because at this point, you know, he has to go on a journey to show, you know, Grogu
Yeah.
the way of life, I guess you could say, or the way of the Mandalorian,
Mhm.
stuff like that. So he goes to the New Republic. New Republic's like, "Oh, thank you for that," because they couldn't do anything about it.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your
But we have
service.
no work for you,
Yeah,
essentially.
and the reason is because of the paperwork. They're not gonna recruit a Mandalorian, a bounty hunter for the
Right.
Republic. It doesn't look right for the new all powerful.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look. But he's like, you know, under the table, you take the job, I'll do it. You pay me.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you send me, you know, anything that's. He says what he tells him his requirements for the missions that he needs to be taken off. Like, it needs to be this, it needs to be that. I don't remember exactly what he says to him, like the specific requirements needed.
Mm.
But
But then after that, he goes. Oh no, he asked. He said his
asked-
payment is
his
he
payment.
wants the.
the G11, it's a GL at that time. The IG-11's had.
No, yeah, but it has a specific name. The droid. It's a bounty hunter droid.
Yeah.
Remember, IG-11 is a bounty hunter
Mhm.
droid. So he asks. He sees the head above the bar. He takes that. We don't know what he wants to do with it. But he goes back to Navarro.
Mm-hmm.
He takes that as his first payment, basically.
Mm-hmm.
He goes back to Navarro. He sees Grief Karga
And they introduced the new sheriff,
and introduce the new sheriff, which is the IG-12,
the marshal.
the marshal. Oh yeah, the marshal.
Mhm.
And then basically, he gets his plot of land. He has his little house thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, it really ends kind of like cheesy
It does
to me, because I was like, okay, he sits down on his lawn chair in front of his house, new plot
Yeah.
of land. You see Grogu, the camera's pulling back
Mhm.
away, and you see Grogu playing with a frog, like forced, like
Yeah,
pulling this
first he
frog
starts
out of
playing
the
with the fly.
water.
He's like, oh, he jumps. The frog jumps, and he's like, oh, stop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it just
It's just
fades to black in the little circle, like the little cartoon.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the season.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, it must be a post credit scene.
There wasn't.
Nah, there wasn't.
Spoiler alert.
It blew me.
I think that- I
the way
think-
it ended, kind of. Nah, but I'm exaggerating. I was like, I was left not satisfied.
Yes,
Like,
especially
you know,
with
when you eat a
everything
meal
going.
and it's kind of like, I ate, but I'm not really satisfied. I'm
Yeah.
gonna be full, but not satisfied.
It was okay, the food, but you know, I was
Yeah,
expecting a
that's
little
how I
bit
felt.
more. Yeah.
So I was like, I guess. And then like I text you and I was
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
I said what I
felt
said, and I was like, it needed something more. I was expecting more. Like, you can't end with season
happy
1 and
ending.
season 2. Well, no, you can end with a happy
I
ending.
mean, you can, but
like
at
the
least
ending of season 1 and season 2 was really good.
Yeah,
And it felt like it was missing something.
yeah. It felt like, I guess you could say, a closing to a chapter, but it also felt like a bit.
But we know there's a
lackluster.
season 4
That's
and
exactly
season 5.
season
of
4 and 5. So it's
Mandalorian.
like, are we gonna get like a time skip? Like it's been 10 years.
It might not
since-
even look. For
and
all we know,
and Grogu's now going through his rebellion phase. He doesn't want to put on the helmet.
for all we know, the reason why this season was like this is because of what rumors are saying that Pedro Pascal wasn't happy
Yeah.
and all this other stuff, and that's why you don't see him not once in the episode. You just
Yeah.
hear his voice. And I guess they tied that into the episode of the redemption. All that. For all we know, that's why the season was
That's true.
was the way it
Mhm.
was. Right? It was enjoyable. I'm not
Mhm.
gonna say I hated it. It sucked, but it could have been better.
It could have been a lot better.
Um,
I would have been even fine with him taking off his helmet for like this season finale, but not him taking off. Moth Gideon taking it off.
it still counts because they say like,
I
have
mean,
you
yeah, but
removed
then-
it? Has anyone removed
I know,
it?
but he can do the
But then
thing
he's
again.
got to go back and.
He's
take the
literally
thing.
on Mandalore.
Yeah, nah, it would have took away from the story.
Only Bo-Katan and Grogu would have known. They were like, if you don't say nothing, I don't say nothing.
It didn't happen.
Grogu, you can't speak now. But I was gonna say something. No, you can't
But, I
speak
mean,
anymore. But like even stuff
We'll
like
see.
that, I would have been fine with. I think that would have been a very dramatic thing if he had the dark saber, he put him to his neck, and he took off his helmet, and, like, you know, and then Grogu's like, no,
Yeah, no.
yeah, he's supposed to no. That would have been really nice.
But what's after this? We get Visions season 2, right?
Vision 2 season.
I hope it's better than season 1.
Yeah.
Season 1 also let me down of Visions.
Although
was
I only
expecting
cared
more.
for the Ronin episode.
The
that-
first one.
Yeah,
that was the best one.
That was,
in
and
my
I was just like,
opinion. I got the lightsaber from that one.
I know that's a really good one.
That's the only reason
a
why.
really
I
good
liked
one.
It. I liked the.
I like his story.
animation and the artwork, and
I really want them to make another episode.
it looked hand drawn,
Yeah.
but it wasn't.
Mm-mm.
It was
like
animated.
It looks like they use like ink brushes.
Because you can see a lot of stuff just kind of like jerking around.
the flow.
movie.
The flow
of
is
it.
really nice.
Yeah.
It fits so well, especially with the Ronin's fighting style, as he
Yeah,
is
it
like a
was so good.
samurai.
I want more of that.
I want
of that
more
one
of that.
specifically.
I want another
It's like, why
story
do you
of
have
him.
a red lightsaber?
Exactly. I
But
want
you're
him.
not bad, or are you?
He's a Ronin, bro.
Or are you in the middle?
He lost his way
So
because that's what the Ronin is. It's a samurai with no master.
nice.
So that's why I want them to like either show like the backstory of it, like maybe his master was like.
But
a
we're not.
gen-
But unfortunately, we're not getting that in season 2 because it's a completely different animation
Yeah.
studios.
which sucks.
But they
I
look
mean,
cool though.
that's what
They
I'm
do
saying.
look a little better than the first season. I'm not gonna
They
lie.
do, and I hope we do get good episodes this time.
Yeah.
But I would like them at some point, even if it's season 3 or maybe at the end of season 2, they do a callback to the Ronin. Like
That'd
he
be
meets a new
cool.
character from this season,
Mhm.
or maybe they introduce the master because he's a
Mhm.
Ronin. His previous master.
And he
that
goes back and fights his master or something.
Or
You know which other episode
Mhm.
was really good of the Visions? The one where it kind of gave me Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan vibes,
Mhm.
where they fight this old dude.
Yeah,
That one was good too. I like that one. There was
Mhm.
only a handful of them that maybe 2 or 3 episodes that I liked a lot.
and even what I like is like these new introductions of like lightsabers too,
Mhm.
like these new variants. I guess you can call them. We're not seeing like the standard hilt.
Mhm.
We start seeing like a samurai hilt. We start
Those
seeing
were
the
cool. I like
umbrella. I thought that was cool.
When is the season 2 premiere? It's in May.
May
Is that next
something.
week or the
I
week
think
after?
So. No, I think
Like for May 4th?
I think it's May 4th. I would make sense to be May
Google,
4th.
my best friend.
But I hope we get to see that.
Visions season.
I'm always a big fan of different
Goes.
hilts and different styles of lightsabers. Different like.
Yeah, May 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so we have some stuff, but they probably are all gonna drop on the same day like season 1 did,
Oh, probably.
because they're shorts.
Yeah.
They're not very long. And then after that, we don't get anything Star Wars related. I don't
No,
think.
the next
until-
thing the next I think big thing would be Marvel, which would be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and then we get Ahsoka in August,
Yeah.
and then we get It came out already, no?
What?
Jedi Survivor comes out this week. Oh, did they push the date back?
I think
Again.
it comes out this weekend or Jedi Survivor is April 28th, so on Friday
Oh, it releases on Friday.
typically. No,
Okay.
no. But we'll see how that goes. I think it has to do something with the only thing I know is that we're gonna meet a Old Republic Jedi.
Hmm.
So that's like from like the old game.
Yeah.
So I was kind of excited about that. I was like, oh,
And Ahsoka, we get he's not is he a Sith? What is he?
who?
He has an orange lightsaber.
I don't know.
I mean, that intrigued me.
I don't know because that opens a lot of things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why? Why is he orange? And it's like,
And not red.
But not red.
He is
Is
the
it-
antagonist, no?
yeah. Is it like, did he not make his lightsaber bleed all the way? Is he somebody else?
Or is he in, like, between?
between both sides?
Well, that would be purple, but...
Yeah, but maybe his crystals. No, if it heals, it turns white.
Mm-hmm. You know what we didn't see any more
Mhm.
of? The Jedi that saved Grogu.
We don't know anything that happens about
We
it.
don't know anything about that either.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this season, like, left me with more questions than answers.
It would have been really nice to find out where.
Like, if you're not gonna flush these things out, just don't even put them in the
Mhm.
show, because then I'm gonna want to hear more about it, and then you're not gonna.
Because
touch
I
back
would
on it.
love to see his character come back. Because his fighting style was, he was whooping clones left and right
Oh, for sure.
with both sabers and the Force. I was like,
Mhm.
damn.
I think we're like at an hour. I don't think we're gonna talk about Star Trek. I think we might leave that for its own
Okay.
episode.
Yeah.
I want you to watch it actually first. Just season 3 of Picard.
Just season 3.
I mean,
okay.
you might be lost
Oh.
because like you haven't watched any other Star Trek series, have you?
No, I think I've seen like the clips from like Family Guy when they make fun
That
of them.
doesn't count.
I think like I was like, oh, I know him.
That doesn't count.
That's Professor Xavier from X-Men. I know that guy.
Stupid.
Patrick Stewart.
You mean Jean-Luc Picard?
Yeah,
the
yeah, that
captain
guy.
of the Enterprise.
Yeah, I know. It's like there's a guy
Enterprise D.
who has like the little goggles, the orange goggles.
Geordi.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Gotta just know the names, bro.
No, bro.
Geordi LaForge. Come on.
I know they have like different colors,
In the
jackets.
uniforms?
Yeah, I know the red is like the captain, and like the blue is what second
They're
in
like,
command.
like a science officer.
Yeah, like science officer.
And then the gold
military.
one is engineering. And
Yeah, I learned that from the Orville.
The Orville is not Star Trek. It is not related to Star Trek.
I don't
at
know.
all.
It feels like it's.
It's not.
It's
so. Anyway, you gotta watch Picard.
I'm gonna watch it right now.
Like no,
No, I'm saying someone go
no,
watch
it's good.
it right
It's good
now. Mm-hmm.
because Picard season 3 specifically because it's different from
I watch a recap of season 1 and 2, and then I watch 3.
season 1 and 2 is stupid.
Just so I know like
But Picard season 3,
he's bald.
it's good because it's so different from any other
Mhm.
Star Trek in the sense of like. So apparently, the creator
Mhm.
Gene Roddenberry of Star Trek didn't like his main characters or anyone in Starfleet to have conflict among each other. They all had to be in agreement, and they were all usually in agreement. You never saw conflict between.
They're best friends. They're all
Yeah.
yeah.
But in Picard, you see conflict
Oh.
in between them.
What do
And
you
for me, I was like,
mean now?
"Yo, what did he just say to Picard?"
He said,
So like, it made it interesting.
no?
And like, they introduced new characters, and there's one particular character that I liked a lot, and like, I was so disappointed what they did. But it wasn't in a bad way. It's like, damn, like I felt it.
it's kind of like how in the Orville how they got rid of the
the chick at the end.
chick. Yeah,
I wanted another season of the Orville. Though.
I was just like,
I'm not gonna
why?
lie, 'cause I
her.
got into it. Like I binge watched. The
I
whole
did
thing.
too. When you said it was like you should watch it, I binge watched it. I was just
What,
like
Orville?
Orville, yeah.
Oh, you hadn't watched it before?
I hadn't
told
watched it
you?
before you told me, and I was just like,
Star Trek is like the Orville. It's
but less funnier.
it's more serious.
Yeah, less funny.
Yeah. Even though the Orville did touch on like a lot of topics that I did not expect.
That I didn't expect it, but they handle it so
Mhm.
like it like
For what the type of show it was.
for the type of show
They
that it
handled well.
was, and the way it relates to the real world.
Yeah.
They hit it.
But you get some of that in Star Trek.
Oh, okay.
You get some of this in Star Trek. But like if you go back and watch, okay, you know which Star Trek is really good? That you might be into? Deep Space Nine.
Uh-huh.
Deep Space Nine touches on a lot of stuff.
Mhm.
A lot of stuff. And like Deep Space Nine is really what got me into Star Trek. It wasn't even Next Generation. And Next Generation was like pre Deep Space Nine, but it's what really got, because it came out on
Mhm.
UPN, I think, or something like that, when I didn't have cable, and I would watch it, and like I had the USS Defiant as the toy and like the ships and all that stuff. It's what I think. Okay, after you watch Picard season 3,
Mm-hmm.
go back and watch
Deep
Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
watch it. I mean, you may not have to watch every single episode because there's a couple of seasons, but just like the first episode when you see Captain or Commander Cisco at that time, like what happens, how he how he transitions to having command of Deep Space Nine and all this other stuff, and like I was like, damn, that's really good. That's really good. You look so bored, just like me, just telling you about it. Like your eyes just like glazed over, and you're like, oh, sure,
Big
sure.
sleep. No, but I am gonna watch. I'm gonna watch. I'll give it a watch. I'm sure.
Yeah,
We'll do either the next episode on that or on like.
for sure on Picard. I want to talk about.
You want to talk about?
I want to hear
Picard?
your thoughts. And,
My thoughts. Yeah, then I'll definitely give it a watch.
Yeah,
I'll give it a watch. I haven't seen it. All I know is big ship is circle. Big ship has circle. I only know that. I only know that he says,
Can't
Scotty, give it
stand you.
all. And then there's like another level that he hasn't been. There's not another level that he hasn't been giving it all. I only know like bits. I only know.
so that's the original Star Trek.
Exactly,
from
that's what I'm
like
saying.
the '60s,
But that's what I'm saying. That
which
all
I have
know
never
is,
watched, by the way.
are the bits from Family Guy when he makes that joke. He's like, "Oh, you know how you're saying give it all? There's actually another lever that I could have pulled a long time ago."
Just even the technology in Star Trek is so much cooler than the technology in Star Wars. Because it's even though they're both sci-fi,
Mhm.
I feel like
It's more sciencey. It's more like real.
it could potentially be
Uh-huh.
real life.
You don't believe in lightsabers? Mm-hmm.
And can't use the Force.
I mean, not the Force, but you lightsaber, just
No, I don't
plasma
think so.
indicator, really hot.
Not yet. At least not yet. So, but like I used to be really into science as a kid. So
Mhm.
I think maybe that's another reason why I like Star Trek a lot.
Mhm.
And then you got to get into Stargate, bro. You got to get into all the shows that start with Star.
Starbucks.
Shows.
Oh,
Shows.
okay.
I was specific. Said shows. Like you're already all in Star Wars. Now
Uh-huh.
Star Trek and then Stargate.
Stargate, and then.
And I like the three IPs because they're different.
I was gonna say that
they're
it was like
vastly different.
You know, they have the same like, I guess, concept like space.
That's it.
Sort of, but yeah, it seems like they each have their own.
I mean, and they're spaceships and stuff, and
but
like,
they're still different though.
but they're
very
vastly
different. Like for example, I know like the different ships they don't look as. They're more metallic. They're more like
In Star Trek,
in Star Trek. They're more
the Federation ships,
Mhm,
are.
the
They're, like,
Federation.
cleaner, have similar
Mhm.
look and feel,
but,
to
like
them.
very polished, sort of like ships.
In the inside, it's just I want to freaking
Live inside of it,
yes. As opposed to Star Wars,
where it's like
it's the bad guys that have the more polished
ships, the better
ships, and then
things.
the good guys is more rugged and dirty and
We got this. We put this part
used
and
and-
that part together. And hopefully,
yeah.
it flies.
And in Stargate, it's like
water.
no, shut up. It's more. Even though it's in outer space, a lot of it takes. A lot of it doesn't really take place in outer space.
Isn't
just
it
takes
just
place in other planets?
Yeah, isn't it just the Stargate?
So,
the
yeah, so
actual-
it's more terrestrial than.
yeah. I remember that from the animated show when they were like beep.
I've never
beep,
seen
beep.
that animated show.
That's
I know
how-
we mentioned it before. On
That's the
podcast.
only thing I know about Stargate. It's like, oh,
You know what I
beep,
want? I
beep,
want a
beep.
Stargate replica.
Oh, actually.
Yeah, like
Like
there's
the
people-
actual.
Yeah, there's people
Mhm.
that make them. There's a
Mhm.
kit or whatever. They 3D print them,
Mhm.
and like you can use the little DHD.
rings?
No, the little. Sorry, you don't know what it is. The Dow home device. The little DHD is this
Uh-huh.
little thing that they use the
Yeah.
coordinates.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
put
yeah,
this-
yeah. I know
they
what
dial
that
the
is.
symbols.
That was in the
and then
animated
it
show.
goes,
And it does. I thought. Okay, I will say that. I thought that was cool because I remember that in the animated show how they would be like, "Oh, we gotta go here," and it was like, "Shh," and then the symbols.
But
would
the
do
way
that.
the movie did it, the original movie,
Mhm.
that looks so good. As opposed to how the show looks.
Mhm.
The show looks like it was made during like the late 90s. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And in the 2000s, they got a little better. But the way the movie did it, and they used real water to do
Yeah.
the thing, I was like, man, how'd y'all do that? That looks so good. Like that's like my favorite. Like first time seeing the Stargate open. It's like, whoa, that's clever how they did that.
I'll watch a Stargate if you watch a Doctor Who.
I have seen Doctor Who.
You've seen all of it?
Not all of it. I've seen season. It's the one with the guy from House of Dragons.
I don't know who that is.
The House of the Dragon.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. The actor?
Yeah.
I can't think of
I think he's like one of Daenerys' ancestors or something. I've never seen
House of Dragons. I've stopped. Like, I haven't fully.
this guy. It's like
I've been
back
fully
in 2014. Whoever the doctor in 2014 was, that's what it was. Doctor Who doctors.
House of Dragons.
This guy.
is
him. I've seen the one with that season.
What is his name? I can't remember his name. But he's the 13th Doctor, number 13.
13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
No, it's because
Oh, they just never showed the other ones.
No. So the previous ones, number 9 and 10, they use a regeneration, so they live again.
But they look the same.
Yeah, they just like, I'm gonna use that once again.
Oh, okay.
He's either 13 or
like
12.
2 hearts or something like that.
Yeah, they have 2 hearts. So.
Oh, the new Doctor. They have another female Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
The only thing I didn't like about the new female Doctor, it's not even the actor. I didn't like what they did to the screwdriver.
Mm-hmm.
So they have the low device sonic screwdriver with the female. It breaks. She repairs it, but it's like with wood.
You mentioned it in the previous.
It's
podcast,
I don't like the way that the wooden like it looks very magic. Like it's a one like Avada, levitate las manos like that.
Levitate las manos. You're funny.
Like it's. I mean, but I like the Doctors. I like all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting.
Space, time, a little bit of timey wimey, dip in that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's a good segment to end on.
I think we can end it there. So next podcast may potentially be
sci-fi. I think it's
Star
gonna be
Trek.
it's sci-fi and everything.
Star Wars is sci-fi, dude.
I know, but I mean that's what I'm saying though. Like
Star Trek Picard,
Star Trek,
season 3.
Maybe a little bit. Maybe if I get into Stargate, if I have enough time.
There's 10 seasons of Stargate, my brother. So
I'm about to watch it on 2 times speed.
and we're gonna end it there.
All right.
Talk to you guys next time. No. Damn it. There we go.